This is Danielle Jacobs, and this is my Mexico video project. One of the first things that we experienced when we got to Mexico was the nightlife around the hotel that we were staying at. There were so many people in the different plazas interacting with each other and walking around. There were booths and vendors set up and little stores everywhere that were selling food and toys for the kids and souvenirs. There were clowns outside putting on shows for donation money. It was just really interesting because in the midst of all of this, there were churches at almost every corner that people would just walk in and out of. And it was really interesting because it seemed like that instead of like at home where going to church was kind of a big production, it was something that they just did casually that was really more almost incorporated in their life because they could do it anytime they wanted. And it seemed with that, they were really interested in like their own family life. So everyone, not everyone, but the people walking around, you could see generations, like their grandparents and then the parents and then the little kids all out together doing the events, eating together, playing together. That was just interesting to watch. And most of the people that we interacted with were super nice about us being American, about us not knowing Spanish very well. They weren't mean. It was just really nice to be able to tell that we were almost welcomed even though they didn't know us. So while we were there, we got to visit 3 different schools. 2 were elementary schools, 1 public and 1 private. And then the 3rd school that we visited was the college that we were sort of partnered with. The public school was the one that really struck me the most because they were in a really small school with really small classrooms and really large class sizes. But the teachers, especially the one that I was with, were so passionate about their teachings and they were so positive, and the kids were all so happy, and we got to see their lunch visit and they were running around and playing and they were all so excited and they seemed to be enjoying school even though they didn't have a lot of the resources that we would have in our American schools. The private school was really interesting to me because it was almost Americanized, so that one really wasn't much different to me than stepping into a American elementary school. We did get to see their Mexican flag ceremony that they do once a week, and it's really a big deal, and they really have a lot of pride in that and in their country, so that was really interesting to see, and probably what struck me most about the private school. When we went to the college, we did a salsa class, which was really awesome, and we collaborated with some of the students there on what the difference was between American and Mexican colleges, so that was really interesting. It seemed all in all they were pretty similar, just some of the differences kind of went along the cultural lines, so that made sense. We also got to listen to some lectures about culture and history that happens in Mexico and their politics around teaching right now, and the people who presented were so involved and so impassioned about what they were learning about, and it was really interesting to see how much politics affected their day-to-day life. The thing I was most grateful for in this trip was just the ability to learn more things about the Mexican culture and especially how the schooling worked. So that way, whenever I have children in my own classroom who maybe grew up in Mexico and just transferred here, or their parents grew up in the Mexican school system, I can use what I've learned to understand more maybe what they're expecting or what they think that I'm doing or how they should be acting in the classroom, and then use that information to help them learn best instead of just assuming that they are being bad or acting out just because they want to. Maybe it's because of the cultural differences. So I'm really glad that I've got that perspective. Also, the visit really helped increased my desire to help others. There were a lot of children there who were working in the streets when they very obviously should have been at school, and so it made me want to go back one day and maybe help them get into the school systems. We also met an amazing woman who that was what she was doing actually. She was a child psychologist, social worker, who dedicated her life to getting kids into school and helping change their life around. And just meeting her, I was so inspired and in awe, and I really wanted to help her and be part of her cause. And I think that was really just the theme of the trip for me, was to figure out ways I could help people and figure out ways to use this knowledge about the culture to help my own students one day in my classroom.